We are two tango dancers who are going to look at the recent Olympic fiasco involving the breakdancing category. So this was a new category that was introduced this past Olympic season, 2024. And they tried breakdancing, and nonetheless, the event went smoothly, except for this one individual. And we're going to look at the individual who has been memed countlessly over the internet, and she is the one breakdancer from Australia. What's her name?
Gunn. Racheal Gunn.
We wanted to go over the backstory of Racheal before we judge her Olympic performance. So, of course, she got panned for her Olympic performance, but we wanted to see first, how did she get into the competition? Honestly, I like this much better than the Olympics already. She's like much more, her dynamics, her fast, her quick movements are much better than the ones displayed in the Olympics.
I agree. And you know, you have a classic breakdancing move. We got the baby swipe there, a little bit of a handstand freeze, not bad. I mean, this actually looks like breakdancing compared to what she did at the Olympics. At the Olympics, I wasn't too sure what she was doing.
There's like, you can see the difference. It's like a little static, not as clean.
Yeah, and like it looks like there's some parts where she's a little stiff and having a hard time moving.
Yeah, the energy just dies and
Yeah.
it's cut.
Well, we saw that move in the Olympics, a little back roll into the pose.
The floor play. I kind of like that floor play better. I wish you would have did more of that.
Well, I think a lot of it is because this is very short. It's like, hey, really, you know, where I think she did a lot more like wiggle worming, or what do you want to call it, at the Olympics, rolling around. You know,
it's just her movement just dies out so fast.
It does, but like, it's funny because in interviews she talks about how like her big strength is her musicality, and you know, because of her movement dying out, it really plays against her musicality. So I really question, like, is musicality her strength?
Yeah, that's classic right there.
Yeah, but still, like, it's a little stiff. She's hard. It's hard for her to like turn over.
Yeah, it's almost like she just her axis awareness.
I think it's more of like her flexibility got in the way. That's how I kind of see it. Dude, she just came out like a cannonball.
Yeah, there's like so much more energy, just in her hand movements, her arms, her whole body just moving in sync.
Well, it's also just so much more confidence too. I mean,
to me, there's like more than just confidence. She uses her whole body. She's really amplifying her movements.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, in terms of the confidence, like, she's really like taking the space, taking the floor. She's like really like she's challenging Racheal, where I felt like Racheal would never really challenge IU.
Yeah.
It is.
And here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh. You know what? Someone got paid. Somebody got paid. I mean, you know what? Like, I know she won because that's how she got qualified for the Olympics, but still, though.
Just look at the half clapping, and no one's really enthusiastic,
And also, it's, you know, the Japanese I've always known them to be very polite, even in losing. Yeah. So to see IU just turn away and not even acknowledge, that Racheal won, that's a bit shocking to me.
To me, in a battle like that, when someone wins, it's obvious. The audience gives an applause like that's the right winner.
Yeah.
And to me, that felt like they announced the wrong winner.
Yeah. But you know, also at the same time, we don't know the judging criteria here. I mean, if I'm going to judge battle, if I'm going to be a judge, I'm going to look at things holistically. How well was I entertained? How impressed am I with these dance moves? But if I'm going to play devil's advocate and look at anything that happened that might have gave Racheal the edge, I didn't see IU do any power moves at all, and that might have counted against her. Maybe the judges. Like maybe that was like the whole thing. Like
too
maybe
conservative.
Or like maybe she got disqualified because there was no power moves. That might have been just the one thing. Like you must have one power move. We don't know the judging criteria.
That's fair. And that's what makes the judging dance very difficult to judge. I know that there's people are going to say, well, you know, there's gymnastics, there's other ice skating, there are other events. There's other events in the Olympics that have very speculative judging. I mean, you can even go to like boxing, for example, as one of them as well. It's very subjective. But in this case, I don't know. I can see that dancing as an art form versus dancing in a competition, that's tough. And that are breakdancers are going to be saying, well, there are certain power moves, there are certain common core things that a lot of breakdancers do that kind of lend itself to your own original creativity as well, but there are some common concepts in there that any breakdancer would know. And so I can see that. It's kind of similar to tango in that sense, right? So in tango, when you go to competition, people are going to be like, well, that's very subjective. We don't know how it feels like. It's their own creativity and these kind of things. But there is some common figures, common steps, common sequences that we see a lot, especially in the Ceylon, the pista categories. And so, I don't know, I just felt like, I think it's very difficult to judge, but there is a curriculum that it can be judged upon.
Yeah, and also we don't know what the judging criteria is. I mean, what if one of the criteria is, you score highly on power moves. So, Racheal did 2 power moves there, even though like they're not great power moves, but she did 2 power moves and IU didn't do any power moves. So maybe that was like the clincher, and that was the thing. Like that was the knockout uppercut, So that could totally be the case. We don't know what the criteria is here, but Derek and I are just looking at it as a holistic entertainment of how much are we entertained by the dance and how much do we appreciate the dance.
How much does it move you? Like, how much am I impressed by it? I think even if you're not an expert or you're well-grounded, I think if you watch something, you could still be impressed by something. Mm-hmm. And so, I can tell that the other girl impressed me much more.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to the actual Olympic performance, and we will see. I mean, you've probably seen it already, but just for the people that haven't seen it, it is a performance that scored an absolute 0 from the judges, meaning that they were just deemed it not even gradable. It's not even on the scale of being graded. And it has been passed through online in many different memes. There's many different platforms that are making fun of this particular performance. Pretty much from her Olympic performance, it's hard to tell if she did a mockery or wasn't she really giving her full out performance, because she did a lot of things in her performance that was kind of like, really? Did you just do a kangaroo pose? Like,
definitely defied normal conventions.
Like, maybe it was a brilliant plan. Like, if you go in, like, if you're not gonna win, then at least get people to talk about you, in a way, and then kind of, make yourself into this meme internet sensation. Because who cares? No one's gonna remember. No one even knows who's gonna remember who won the gold medal anyways. So you might as well get known and.
Yeah, I could see that, but here's the other thing. It's like she's a professor of cultural movement. She's a hip hop instructor on the university.
God,
so to me, that would be like that'd be like me being a teacher, a tango teacher, going to Mundial, not only getting last place, but getting 0 points. Like there's nothing they saw that was viably tango. And then coming back here and when I try to teach again, I mean, she's a university.
Well, I don't think she did it for teaching. I think she did it for purposes of putting her name out there and getting well known and famous, and then parlaying that to something else.
Okay. Well,
she's not doing it for credibility of being a professor. I don't think you do that.
I hear you, but I mean, okay, you're a college, you're a university speech and English professor, right?
Yeah.
So how would you feel if you went and did Toastmasters, right? Right. And then came back with a flat 0 on a Toastmasters competition?
Well, I mean, am I going to get super famous?
Yeah,
that's a trade-off, right?
Yeah, but
I get a flat 0, but at least I get millions of followers because I'm now known as the person that, I don't know, like did something ridiculous and now everyone remembers me for it.
Yeah, but I mean, but your credibility as a teacher who teaches on the subject of English and speaking.
Yeah, it doesn't look good to my peers. It doesn't look good to my department. It would probably be very difficult to go back and teach classes, let alone go back to that university. I could probably say she's going to have to at least parlay that to something else now. I mean, I couldn't even imagine going back to Monday, like, hey, everybody, I'm back.
That's
just crazy to me.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering about. I mean, like, there's a lot of people who sacrifice their career for their 5 seconds of fame. And I think this might be one of those things where she sacrificed her career for 5 seconds of fame. And was it a good gamble? Only time will tell.
I mean, because her performance at the Olympics was very different from the thing we watched earlier to get her in.
Yeah.
No, it's very different.
It is very, well, I wouldn't say very different. There are certain things that she did.
No, there was a lot of like posing and things that are just seemed like very shenanigans.
It was, but still, you could see there were some elements from the competition, the previous competition that she pulled into her Olympic performance that I would say is something that I would not see at a conventional breakdancing tournament, like where she flailed her arms around like a windmill. I typically don't see that when I was watching Battle of the Year or Red Bull One, or like that little back roll into a pose. I rarely see that either. And also, even for the kids, I rarely see anything like that. So I understand what you're saying, but I think there's still some elements that she pulled over. So it's not like completely original, not like a complete,
it's not completely,
Yeah. So there's still elements in there. So I don't know.
I do give her a lot of credit that just going out there and performing, I do give her a lot of credit for that. Because there's a lot of people that have a degree, say they can do certain things, and then don't apply those things. And I give her kudos for actually putting herself out there. So I think that's kind of cool.
No, it is kind of cool, but also at the same time, it's like, I mean, yes, but to represent your country, I mean, I put a big stake on that. Like how, like we're both tango dancers. How would we like to represent the United States?
Well, I've been trying to.
I know.
I just haven't got third.
I know, but I'm just saying, let's just say you had the opportunity. You went down there. Would you throw it away like that if you knew you weren't going to win?
It's tough to say. Would I throw it away? I think she's trying to make the best of her moment. Either way, she's still an Olympian. Either way, she still performed at Paris.
Yep.
She's still performed on TV in front of millions and millions of people. That's two things that none of us can say.
No, that's true. But also at the same time, some people are pegging her as the reason why breakdancing won't be at the LA Olympics.
It's not. It's off the list.
I know, but some people are saying like maybe like that's the reason, like she's one of the reasons why it's not there.
The thing is, and I understand why, because when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, when I watched the Olympics, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like all these great athletes doing incredible feats of physical performance that I could never see myself doing, or at least it would be very difficult. Like you're throwing a javelin, like you're, like lifting up these heavy weights, you're running super fast. And then when you see something like that my like 12-year-old friends can do, you're kind of like, it kind of diminishes the Olympics when I'm just like, my friend who's in 5th grade can do some of those moves better than this Olympian. And it's like, because you couldn't say that before. You couldn't be like, yeah, my friend throws a javelin way farther than that guy over there. Yeah. Or they, pole vault over this or jump over 20 feet. Like, no, these are all incredible feats that your ordinary person can't do. So when your ordinary person looks at that and be like, man, I could do that, it kind of it makes the whole event look like a sham.
Yeah, I agree with you. But also at the same time, I would also say that there are many things that we believe we can do, but we really can't. And I remember when I first started learning how to snowboard, you don't believe how many times I fell down. It took me like an hour to get down one trail.
Well, that's just us, but we know somebody that's really good at snowboarding.
I know, but what I'm saying is that like when I first started, I was watching TV. I'm like, that doesn't look so hard. You just slide down, right? and then I remember like I was getting tooled, and my brother was like, hey, bro, what's taking you so long? I'm like, and the first thing out of my mouth, like, you know what? It looks so much easier on TV.
It does, but I never come across the thought of like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to dive off that 100-foot whatever thing and do 20 million backflips.
Yeah.
There was never a chance where like I could see myself doing that. But I knew people that were like, oh, I know someone who's fast at swimming. I could see if they really train, they could be that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is like now you're looking at something. I'm like, dude, I think my friend's better than this person, and that's kind of like you can't really have that at the Olympics.
Yeah, no, it's
These
true.
are supposed to be the best in the world, and you're like,
Yeah, but also like I mean, breakdancing aside, there's been a lot of mishaps that I saw in the Olympics this year. Like there was a person who never swam before who became an Olympic swimmer. You know, and they trained and they barely made 100 meters
Yeah.
because they were only trained to 50 meters. They didn't know they were in the 100 meters.
That sucks.
But at the same time, like he actually finished. He was struggling, but he had a standing ovation because he tried his heart out and everyone like.
I like those moments.
Yeah.
Those moments are cool.
But then there was also that runner. I don't remember what country she was from, but she signed up as a professional runner, and no one checked her, and turns out like she couldn't run faster than any normal Joe, and she got last place. So, I think there's a lot of mishaps in this year's Olympics, and this Racheal Gunn might be another story in that roundup.
And it just shows you, I don't think you can have dance at the Olympics, to be honest. I think dance is an art form. I think there are competitive dancing, of course, but I just don't think you can lump it in the same category of Olympics. There are going to people are going to say, well, there is dancing, there's the floor routine and gymnastics, but I think that's that's a combination of all other things. It's like one aspect of many different things. It's
Yeah.
not its own thing.
Yeah, I agree. And then also when you take back in the day when ice skating was very artistic,
Right.
people would score to that. But now it's almost like ice skating has gone away from the artistic side of things. It's like, can you jump higher? How many more twirls can you do? So are we gonna? If we did dance like that, it would almost be like you have a set program. It's almost like stage choreography, and then people would grade how difficult your moves are. Like, did you do a helicopter lift? Did you do a necktie lift? Did you do all like how difficult are these moves? Because ice skating has turned in that direction also, where it's not about how artistic you are. It's about who jumps higher, who twirls more, the difficulty of your moves. Because the artistic part is so subjective that it's almost the scoring of artistry is so negligible compared to the athleticism. And I think if dance joined that field, because even rhythm gymnastics, there is like a set program, and they have a set difficulty of moves that which you're graded upon, and you have to do those things. If you bail, you actually lose points. And so I think if they were going to enter dance, it would have to be in that criteria, and you might lose the artistry, which makes dance such a beautiful art.
I'm also going to blame a little bit towards Racheal Gunn's family and friends, because I think, I don't know, there has to be some feedback. There's some critics. Are you telling me that of course your family and friends are going to be supportive, but if you see your friend, really, you're going to, I don't know. I get it. It's your Olympic dream. How many chances are you going to get it? Get to the Olympics. So why as well take it? But it's can someone tell her
Okay, but here's the other to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
What if they feel that they don't have the experience to know to criticize them, to criticize? They might think it looks bad, but they're like, well, I'm not part of that culture, so what do I know what good looks like? I studied fine arts at UC Irvine, and when you look at contemporary art compared to classical art, contemporary modern art is like Jesus in a bowl of urine, Yeah. And then you compare that to a Rembrandt. It's so Jesus in a bowl of urine is supposed to be good, where in classical art you can actually look at a Rembrandt, you can look at the statue of David, and you say, oh, that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But now in contemporary art, that's Jesus in a bowl of urine is good. And
I don't know. I mean, can't you just look at yourself and be like, wow, I'm going to be competing against these people? Am I up to snuff? Probably not.
Yeah. No, I again, I hear you, and I totally agree with you. But at the same time, when she has academic titles behind her that says she is an expert in this field.
That's the problem I have. I got a message from one of my friends. She's like, man, she's making academics or university degrees look bad. And I was like, kind of, yeah. It's because, it's
Well, it's not just academic and university degrees, but then she's the educator who then it's the cycle continues. So she's like, it's one thing to get a degree in, let's say, breakdancing or whatever, or cultural movement and dance.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to be then hired as an institutional, spokesperson or like expert in that field.
Right.
And I think, I think that's one of those things where if I had a friend who is an expert in her field or his field, and I might look at it and go, I don't agree with that, but you're the expert, so what do I know? And generally that's what I would say. And maybe what if all her friends and family kowtow to that because the job title, and the expert for like the license is supposed to mean something.
It just looks bad, though. It looks bad.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's the end for this one, and we'll definitely catch you on the next one.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and let us know what you think about Racheal Gunn's performance and whether or not you agree with our perspective or have your own. We would like to know in the comments, but thanks again for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you for watching the latest episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. Please click the subscribe button and the notification bell to keep up to date with our latest videos. We greatly appreciate it.
Also, if you can, click the like button. It really helps us with the algorithm. Where our goal is really to make tango, social tango in the community more available to the mass public. And that's pretty much our goal with the whole channel. So if you could click that like button, it really goes a long way. Thank y'all so much.